In this video I show you how to make realistic hillsides with walls, and I don't use any static grass at all. Hello, my name is Flavin. The last time you saw the hills they were white insulating foam, and I hadn't done any work at that point on the riverbanks. Now the riverbanks are finished and I've covered the white insulation foam with grass. This is the Javis rough terrain mat, and I've been working on the cliffs where the tunnel end is going to be. So I now have a desk full of bits and pieces that I'm going to use to turn the hillside at the back of the station halt into something that looks realistic. The only thing I don't have here are the sheep, which are somewhere else and I couldn't find them immediately, but they'll go on last anyway because there'll be a few of them. First thing, walling. Now I like this stuff. It's from Osborne's Models. It's very flexible, which means you can make it curve round and up and down. It comes in a browner colour than I like because I tend to model Yorkshire, so I've painted it a bit grey and highlighted it a bit, changed it slightly, but it still doesn't hide the fact it's brilliant. This is for some of the hillside. It's Fallas, clump foliage. I've got some woodland scenics foliage as well, medium green. I've got various things to sprinkle on the top. Some Gauge Master Scenics light green leaves. Various bushes. Now, some of them I know where they've come from, some of them I don't. Those make nice gorse bushes. So do these little yellow ones here. There are some red ones. I don't tend to use the red. I prefer other colours. Some rather nice tufts, quite big ones. I like the bigger ones. I've also got a few more tufts over here in two different colours. I've got the thing that makes the finishing touches for me more than anything else. I use the Scenics flower kit. I tend to use the yellow, the pink and the purple on my layout. I'm also going to put trees. Now I have a tray full here. Some of them I'm going to do some work on and use them. I also found, but I can't see them at the moment, some decent seagrass that I'd forgotten I'd got, and may make those into some trees too because they can look very effective. I quite like the Pico back scenes and I'd probably be using one, but maybe not this one. Not quite sure it's right. I've about another 4 or 5 in my drawer. I'm going to get round to getting them out. So it's sitting on my work desk. That's where the station halt's going to be. There'll be a tree and various other bits of undergrowth around it. You can see down that there is a slope that will have a bit of attention, and on the other side I've now put the wall. Now the wall's in place and I've just put a few bushes in front of it to show you what it will look like. I will be doing more on that. So overall I'm quite pleased with that. I've been adding the bushes, the flowers, some landscape materials to the hill behind the station. This is the station in situ. These are the walls that I've put in. This is the scenery that I've been creating behind it. I'm going to be putting it in place on a permanent basis on the layout now. I've added some of the Pico sheep and lambs. They're walking along towards the back of the scene, and the back scene will make them stand out better. And there is also a cliff face, which is where there's going to be a tunnel end there. So I've put the hillside in place on a layer of Mod Podge, and it's being held down by a number of fairly heavy pots and things while I leave it to dry. That will take probably overnight. Over the years of railway modelling, I have found that if I take photographs and look at those in detail, I often see things that I've missed or things that I will change or I think I can do better. And I found this particular set very useful. Once the hills were stuck down, I realised that there was a bit of a gap that needed filling, and I've been finding this foam clay very useful. So I filled the gaps with the foam clay. It never dries as hard as some things, but that didn't matter in this case because I was going to put lots of grass and bushes on it anyway. I've created a pavement that runs to the footpath up to the station halt. Realised that the path, looking at those photos I mentioned earlier enough, was too steep and created a little set of steps. And I also painted the path grey because it didn't look quite right. In the next video, I will show you how I made the cliff face, which you can just see in the top left-hand corner. There is a tunnel end and another cliff face. I'll modify the back scene as well, as I'm not too happy with that particular one. And I'll also start to show you what I've created on the front edge of the board in front of the arched retaining wall. As always, please like, share, ring the bell and subscribe. And I'll speak to you next time.